You know, a best actor Oscar.
Maybe if he just stayed out of drugs.
You
maybe.
never know. You just never know. Like Lindsay Lohan could turn. No, that's not true.
Yeah, but look, if I can, actually, I think Lindsay Lohan is capable of it, but I think her lifestyle's ruining that. She's talented as hell, and I see her in things.
She was really good in that Lake Wobegon days.
She was
Prairie Home Companion thing. Yeah,
she was really good in it, and I've seen her in other things where she was, she could go on and do other things. But here's the problem: for every one Ron Howard, there are 900 Corey Haim's, and usually those Corey Haim stories end in tragedy or just complete, annihilation or something. And once in a while you got Ron Howard. Well, why do you have Ron Howard? He had really good parents, and he hung around with Andy Griffith all day, who freaking protected him.
Exactly. Who is the people around him who was protecting him?
Yeah.
We kind of touched this a little bit. And what do we say? Who is Corey Haim's brain trust?
The other Corey.
Corey Feldman. Yeah.
The Corey Feldman, and I'm sure Gary Busey gave him lots of great advice.
Yeah, I'm sure that worked out.
Yeah.
And I was reading while I was going down this rabbit hole, he lived in Robert Downey Jr.'s apartment for like months and months on end when he was like 12 or 13 or something, teenage age, before he really got into drugs heavily. But he's living with Robert Downey Jr. before Robert Downey Jr. is any kind of huge star, and is basically sleeping in cocaine. Like that was the time when he was really falling apart. And here's Corey Haim, an underage kid, living with him. Like, I don't know what was going on there, but again, for a kid who's clearly got proclivities toward addiction, this is all bad news. And there's a lot of other seedy stuff that I'm not even going to mention here. It just got real bad for the kid. So I feel like there was a lost opportunity here. He needed an Andy Griffith early on. Kind of pull him under his wing.
We all need Andy Griffith.
Because Hollywood's a shit. It's bad. It's not good. Now, it's not everybody, and I'm sure there's cases where you could argue it, or whatever. But you never hear happy stories later. Lindsay Lohan's not fun. And you can't blame just Hollywood. You can't blame just her parents. Probably a combination of things. But anyway.
Now, there was also Megan Fox who was in this movie, and I thought I actually really dug the.
Oh, Anne of Green Gables. Yeah.
Right. She done pretty decent, and I really dug. I thought it was fantastic when she was going around the town trying to find the person with the one eye.
The
Cinderella eye thing. I thought that was actually.
Why did you hate that? That was clever.
The way it was done.
Well presented. Like when she's pulling the towel off the dude who's getting the longest hot towel treatment ever. Like I thought that was pretty good.
I hated that because first of all, some 13-year-old girl's never going to be allowed to walk into the barbershop and have Floyd going, "Well, how you doing, Junior? Something, talking, like everything's great. Let me just sneak on over to one of your customers, pull his towel half off, have a tiny conversation, put it back on."
There was one thing that struck me in that whole sequence, and that is that she goes into a restaurant and asks people. No one